What happens when a man points a gun at someone, and instead of pulling the trigger, the truth comes out instead? That's exactly where we are in Port Charles right now. Secrets that have been buried for months, lies that have been stacked on top of more lies, and relationships hanging by the thinnest possible thread. They are all unraveling. Fast. And the fallout? Oh, it is going to shake this entire town to its core. If you've been watching General Hospital lately, you already know things have been heating up. But what happened on Monday's episode, that wasn't just heat. That was a full-on explosion. And now, with May 7th right around the corner, the pieces are moving in ways that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. So buckle up, because today we are breaking down everything. The confrontation, the secrets that finally got dragged into the light, the new power plays being made, the unexpected musical moment that might change two characters' lives forever, and the quiet, unsettling feeling that something is terribly, terribly wrong, that one character just can't shake. This is your complete General Hospital breakdown. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a General Hospital fan and you've been riding every twist and turn of this wild, unpredictable season, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're doing something a little different. Instead of just listing out spoilers, we're going to actually talk through what's happening, what it means, and why it matters. Not just for our favorite characters, but for the bigger story that's been building for a long, long time. We've got multiple storylines exploding at once right now. Valentin and Carly are smack in the middle of a dangerous game. Willow is sitting on a throne she built with secrets and a gun she should never have pulled. Trina and Gio are discovering something beautiful in the middle of all this chaos. And Molly, sweet, recently recovered Molly, suddenly has a feeling in her gut that something is very, very off. If any of those names just made your pulse jump a little bit, then you are exactly who this video is for. Let's start from the top. Okay, so let's set the scene. Monday's episode of General Hospital gave us what fans have honestly been waiting for. A real, raw, nothing-held-back confrontation between Valentin, Carly, and Jack. Now, if you've been following along, you know that these three have been orbiting each other in a very complicated, very tense dance for a while now. There have been half-truths. There have been secrets that were kept just barely under the surface. And there has been this building pressure, like a pressure cooker that's been running way too long. And Monday, it finally blew. Valentin, played brilliantly by James Patrick Stewart, had a gun trained directly on Jack, played by Chris McKenna. And let's just sit with that image for a second. Because this wasn't a random confrontation. This wasn't an accidental run-in. This was deliberate. This was the moment where all the chess pieces finally got swept off the board and everyone had to face what was actually on the table. And what was on the table? Everything. Jack found out, for the very first time, about Carly and Valentin's affair. Let that sink in. The affair that Carly, played by the incredible Laura Wright, had been hiding. The secret that Valentin had been keeping just as carefully. Jack didn't just get a hint or a rumor. No, no, no. He got the full picture, right there, in that moment, staring down the barrel of a gun, with nowhere to run and no way to deny what was right in front of his face. And it didn't stop there. Jack also found out that Valentin had been staying with Carly, that the two of them have been living under the same roof, working together, keeping secrets together. And then, as if all of that wasn't already enough to completely flip Jack's world upside down, he also discovered that Carly knows the truth about how he recruited her own daughter into the WSB. Her daughter, Joss. He used her. And Carly knows. Can you imagine being Jack in that moment? Everything you thought you had control over, every lever you thought you could pull, every person you thought you had in your pocket. Suddenly you find out that the woman you were manipulating knew the whole time, and she's been working against you, with the one man you probably least expected. That is a devastating moment, not just dramatically, not just in terms of storyline, but emotionally, because this is the kind of scene that redefines characters. It tells you who they really are when there's nowhere left to hide, and Jack found out exactly where he stands. Here's the thing about moments like that confrontation. Once they happen, there is no undoing them. There is no pretending it didn't happen. There is no going back to the way things were. The show is making that very clear. What spoilers and teasers are telling us heading into the May 7th episode is that Valentin and Carly have effectively taken Jack off the board. At least for now. They've dealt with him. And in a show like General Hospital, dealt with can mean a lot of different things. But what we do know is that Jack isn't going to just disappear quietly. He's going to be useful to them. Or rather, they are going to make him useful. Because there are still bigger fish to fry. Specifically, Sidwell, played by Carlo Rota, and Cullum, played by Andrew Hawkes. These are the targets. These are the people that Valentin and Carly have their sights set on. And now, with Jack essentially in their corner, whether he likes it or not, they have a new piece to play with. But here's where the story takes an even more urgent turn. Joss is missing. And when Valentin and Carly find that out, when that piece of information lands, everything about the urgency of their plan changes. Because this is no longer just about strategy or power or revenge or even justice. This is about a mother's daughter. This is personal in a way that makes everything else feel secondary. Carly is about to receive some alarming news, and if that news confirms that Joss is gone, that she's been taken, that she's in danger, then you can bet that whatever plan Valentin and Carly were building is going to be accelerated in a major way. Because nothing motivates a mother like the safety of her child. The clock is ticking, and Port Charles is about to feel that pressure. Now, here's where things get really, really interesting. And honestly, a little emotionally complicated. Because while all of this action and danger is swirling around him, Valentin's next move is not another confrontation. It's not another standoff. It's actually something that feels almost quiet in comparison. He wants to reach out to Nina, played by Cynthia Watros, his ex, the woman he has a long, tangled, emotionally loaded history with. And Valentin, being Valentin, started with a very practical, very calculated reason for wanting to contact her. The original idea was to use Nina as a way to feed false information to Jack, to use her as a pawn in this chess match he's been playing. But here's the thing about plans in Port Charles. They rarely stay the way they started. When Valentin reaches out to Nina, who knows what's really going to happen? Maybe the interaction is purely strategic. Maybe he uses her exactly the way he intended, and it's cold and calculated and works like clockwork. Or maybe, just maybe, something shifts. Because these two have history. Real history. The kind that doesn't just disappear because it's inconvenient. And Nina, as a character, is complex and emotional and unpredictable in the best possible way. If Valentin shows up in her life right now, even for strategic reasons, there is absolutely no guarantee it stays that simple. Fans of Valentin and Nina as a couple have been watching this slow burn for a while, and even if this contact starts as a mission, it might evolve into something neither of them planned for. That word, evolve, is key here. The teasers aren't ruling anything out. And in a story already full of twists, a Valentin and Nina reunion, even just an emotional one, could be one of the most impactful turns of this entire arc. Okay, we need to talk about Willow, because this storyline is one of the most fascinating and honestly kind of uncomfortable things happening on General Hospital right now. And I mean that in the best possible way. Willow, played by Caitlin McMullen, shot Drew. She pulled the trigger. She made that choice. And the shocking, truly shocking thing is that there are multiple people in Port Charles who know this. Multiple people. And nobody is saying a word. Think about that. In a town where gossip travels faster than the speed of light, in a place where secrets have a notoriously short shelf life, multiple people know that Willow shot Drew, and somehow, this is still being kept under wraps. But Willow isn't just sitting quietly hoping this stays buried. Oh no. She is out here making moves. She went to Jack, yes, the same Jack who just had a gun pointed at him by Valentin, and asked him to dig up dirt on Drew. Incriminating information, the kind of information she could use to maintain power over him. Because here's Willow's plan. as far as we can tell. She's going to eventually release Drew from his locked-in state. She can't keep him that way forever. That's not sustainable, practically or morally. But when she does let him out, she wants leverage. She wants something over him so that he can't come after her, so that he can't expose her, so that the power balance stays exactly the way she needs it. And right now, according to the spoilers, Willow is confident. She genuinely believes her plan is solid. She believes she's thought this through. She believes she has it handled. And that right there is the most dangerous thing about her right now. Because in storytelling, in soap operas especially, when a character says they have it all figured out, when they're walking with that kind of certainty, something is about to go wrong. The confidence itself becomes the warning sign. It's almost like the universe hears it and says, "Oh, you think you're safe? Hold on." Someone is going to expose Willow. It might not be today. It might not be in the next episode. But the longer this secret stays buried, the louder it gets. And the louder it gets, the harder it becomes to contain. When the truth about what Willow did finally comes out, and it will come out, the fallout is going to be seismic. For her marriage, for her relationships with the people she loves, for her sense of who she is. Right now, she's confident. But confidence built on secrets is one of the most fragile things in the world. All right, let's take a breath for a second. Because not every storyline right now is dark and dangerous and filled with guns and secrets. Some of them are actually really, really beautiful. And the story between Trina and Gio, it's one of those ones. Trina, played by Tabyana Ali, and Gio, played by Giovanni Mazza, recently performed together at Christina's open mic night. And if you caught that episode, you already know it was one of those performances that just lands, the kind that surprises you, the kind that makes you stop scrolling, stop multitasking, and just watch. For Trina, this was eye-opening in a way she didn't expect. Singing has never been part of her story before. It was never something she considered. She's always been passionate about art, about advocacy, about the things that drive her. But music as a career path? That thought probably never crossed her mind until now. The response she got from that open mic night performance clearly moved something in her. People responded, people connected to her voice. And then Brooke Lynn, played by Amanda Setton, floated an idea that probably sounded both thrilling and terrifying at the same time. What if Trina became a professional singer? That kind of suggestion, coming from someone like Brooke Lynn, who has her own musical background, carries weight. It's not just a compliment. It's an invitation. It's a door being opened. And then there's Gio. Gio's relationship with music is one of the most emotionally layered things happening on this show right now. When he found out that Brooke Lynn and Dante, played by Dominic Zamprogna, were his biological parents, it sent him into a spiral. He shut music out of his life. Completely. Picked up the violin and then put it back down, maybe thinking he'd never pick it up again. But that was a year ago. And people change. Hearts heal. Slowly, imperfectly, but they do. And Gio seems to be in a very different place now. The hardness around music seems to be softening. He seems to be circling back to it, not running from it anymore. Now teasers say that Trina and Gio make a pact. And while we don't know exactly what that pact involves, the context is pretty telling. It seems like they're both agreeing to let music back into their lives, to stop being afraid of what it means or what it could do to them and just let it in. And maybe, just maybe, they're agreeing to perform together again. There is something so pure and hopeful about this storyline in the middle of everything else that's happening. Port Charles is full of manipulation and secrets and people pointing guns at each other. But in this one corner of the story, two young people are rediscovering something that brings them joy. That matters. That's the kind of storyline that reminds you why you fell in love with this show in the first place. And then there's Molly. Kristen Vaganos plays Molly. And if you've been following her recent storyline, you know she's been through it. A recent medical procedure. Recovery. The kind of physically and emotionally exhausting journey that puts life into perspective. But she's come out the other side of it. And things have been good. Really good, actually. She and Cody, played by Josh Kelly, are in a genuinely fun, light place together. There's a book tour on the horizon, which is exciting. Cody wants to come along for the ride, which is sweet. For the first time in a while, Molly's life has this beautiful, hopeful energy around it. And then something happens. Something triggers that instinct in her, that quiet, creeping feeling that something isn't right. Spoilers describe it as her suspicions being activated, and the question that everyone's going to be asking is, what exactly set it off? Is it something connected to her father? Something about Jordan's accident? Something else entirely? Something we haven't even considered yet? The thing about Molly as a character is that she is sharp. She pays attention. She picks up on things that other people miss. So when her instincts start firing, it's worth paying attention. It's not paranoia. It's pattern recognition. And in a town like Port Charles, where lies and conspiracies are practically in the water supply, that kind of awareness is both a gift and a burden. Whatever triggered her suspicion in the May 7th episode, it matters. And chances are, once Molly starts pulling on that thread, she's going to find something that changes everything for her, and possibly for the people around her. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture. Because all of these storylines, as separate as they might seem, are actually part of something much larger that General Hospital has been building. At its heart, this show has always been about the way that secrets destroy people, and more importantly, about the way that truth, even when it's painful, ultimately sets things right. It might take a while, it might cause damage on the way there, but truth has a way of rising to the surface no matter how deep you try to bury it. Right now, we're in the middle of what might be the most secret-heavy period in recent General Hospital history. Valentin and Carly are hiding their relationship and their plan. Willow is hiding what she did to Drew. Jack has been hiding how he used Joss. And everyone is pretending, maneuvering, and trying to control a situation that is fundamentally uncontrollable. But here's what history tells us about this show. The longer the secret, the bigger the reveal. The more people involved in keeping something quiet, the louder it gets when it finally explodes. We are building towards something massive. These aren't just episodic little plot moments. They are bricks being stacked for a wall that's about to come tumbling down. And when it does, Port Charles is going to feel it. The Trina and Gio music storyline also fits into this bigger picture in a subtle way, because it represents growth, healing, and the idea that even in the middle of chaos, life keeps moving forward. Young characters like Trina and Gio are the future of this show, and watching them discover their identities and their passions gives the story long-term emotional depth. And Molly's suspicion? That's the beginning of another unraveling. Another secret being chipped away at. Another character whose instincts are sharper than anyone realizes. This show knows how to layer stories. And right now, the layers are rich. Okay, let's put on our analyst hats for a minute. Because if you're watching General Hospital closely, there are some really fascinating things happening beneath the surface of all these storylines. First, Valentin and Carly as a team. This is not something fans would have predicted a year ago, or even 6 months ago. These two characters coming together, forming this unlikely alliance, actually working in sync. It's bold storytelling. And what makes it compelling is that it's not clean. It's messy. Carly has feelings she's probably not fully processed. Valentin has motives that are never entirely pure. Their partnership is interesting precisely because it could fracture at any moment. The Jack confrontation cemented it for now. But how long does "for now" last? Willow shooting Drew was a turning point that the show has been very deliberate about. They're not rushing the consequences. They're letting the audience sit with the discomfort of watching Willow move through the world with this massive secret hanging over her. That patience in storytelling is intentional. They want you to feel uneasy. And when the reveal finally comes, that slow build will make it hit so much harder. The confidence she's displaying right now is almost certainly going to be the thing that does her in. Overconfidence is one of storytelling's oldest cautionary tales, and soap operas know exactly how to use it. General Hospital has been deliberately investing in its younger characters this season. Trina, Gio, Joss, these characters are being given real, substantive storylines. The Trina and Gio music pact isn't just a sweet side story. It's character development that's going to pay off in ways we can't fully predict yet. When a show gives young characters depth and agency, it's telling you, these people matter to the future of what we're building. Don't sleep on this. When a character who has been through something hard suddenly feels something is wrong, especially when their life has just started going right, that's always a setup for something significant. Whatever Molly is picking up on, it's not nothing. And her following that feeling could be the thread that unravels something major in a completely unexpected direction. We haven't seen much of Joss on screen in this particular set of episodes, but her presence is felt everywhere. She's at the center of what Jack did. She's the reason Carly's personal stakes are sky high. She's the urgency that's going to push Valentin and Carly to move faster and more recklessly. Characters who are absent in soap operas often matter the most because they're the ones everything else is orbiting around. When Carly finds out Joss is missing, that's not just going to be a dramatic moment. It's going to be a gear shift for the entire storyline. Everything accelerates, everything becomes more personal, and personal stakes make for the best television. So there you have it, a full breakdown of what happened on Monday's explosive episode of General Hospital, and everything heading into the May 7th episode. Valentin and Carly, now firmly in this together, using Jack, hunting for Joss, reaching out to Nina, Willow dangerously overconfident, walking around with a secret that is slowly but surely finding its way toward the surface. Trina and Gio making a beautiful pact that could change the direction of both their lives. And Molly with that uneasy feeling that something is very wrong, even as everything on the outside looks perfectly fine. Port Charles is a lot right now, and that's exactly why we love it. Now I want to hear from you. Which storyline has you the most gripped right now? Are you Team Valentin and Carly? Do you think Willow's going to get away with it, or is she about to get caught? And what do you think Molly's suspicion is actually about? What did she pick up on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything, and I genuinely love hearing what you all think is coming next. Sometimes you guys predict things way before the show even hints at it, and that is always impressive. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It seriously helps more than you know. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We cover General Hospital spoilers, recaps, and deep dives like this all the time, so you do not want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep watching, because in Port Charles, the story never slows down.